back to my channel. Today's video is a super exciting one. I'm going to be doing some Halloween recipes with y'all, and I'm going to be sharing a couple of appetizers in today's video as well as a chili recipe. And at the end, I'm going to be doing a dessert, a Halloween dessert, and a Halloween drink, which I'm so pumped for. So I want you guys to get in the Halloween spirit and come along with me, and let's get started. Before we get started and all of the treats, I wanted to share some super exciting news, which is that this video is in collaboration with Sophie from Sophisticated Organization for double the Halloween food goodness. So make sure you all go check out her video after mine and subscribe to her channel. She is making some awesome recipes that you guys won't want to miss. For the first appetizer recipe, we're going to be doing jack-o'-lantern quesadillas, which are going to be so cute. I'm super excited. And you need something to cut it out. I'm not really sure what this is used for, but that's what I'm going to be using because I don't have anything else. And you are going to need chicken, which I'm going to be shredding. And to season the chicken with, you're going to need chili powder, garlic powder, and some hot sauce. And of course, you need your cheese for the quesadillas and the tortillas. Okay, now I've just added water to my pot. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this to a boil and add some salt in here, and then I'm gonna put in the chicken and let that cook, and when it's done, I'm just gonna shred it apart before I add the seasonings. Okay, now while I wait on the water to boil, I'm gonna go ahead and get the flour tortillas and start cutting them out for the jack-o'-lantern. Okay, and I did forget to mention that you do want to have your oven on 425 while you're waiting on that to boil. That way when it's done, you can just go ahead and stick them in the oven. So I tried using this tool, and I honestly have no clue what it's used for or why we have it, but it didn't work for this, so you'll see me swap to a butter knife after I get the chicken in the pot, which works so much better than this. And I'm letting the chicken cook for about 10 to 15 minutes until it's done all the way through. Once the chicken was done, I just took them out one by one to shred and put in a bowl to mix in the seasonings and the hot sauce before adding it to the tortillas. If you're short on time though and wanted to make this even more simple, you could just use rotisserie chicken. It would be just as good, and a lot of rotisserie chicken is already seasoned as well. So the only seasonings I'm using for the chicken is some chili powder and garlic powder. I didn't do a specific amount. I just eyeballed it and then added in the hot sauce. And the same thing with that as well, just added enough to cover the chicken. Now to put it all together, just spray the bottom of a baking sheet and add the bottom tortillas. I did the taco size shells, so I'm doing 3, which was the perfect amount for the chicken that I had. And I'm topping them with the chicken and then some Mexican cheese before adding the jack-o'-lantern tortillas. put them in the oven, I'm just spraying the tops with the cooking spray, and then I leave them in for about 15 minutes. You could actually probably only leave them for 10 minutes depending on how many you do. Just make sure that the tops are golden brown. And this space right here was my prepping space, so I'm cleaning it in between everything that I make. It makes it so much easier when you are finished just to clean as you go. Okay, now that I have the quesadillas in the oven, I'm gonna go ahead and start on the Mummy Pigs in a Blanket. I'm super excited about these. These are so cute. I know Kyler's gonna love them. I got the little googly eyes to go on top to make it look more mummy-ish, but we normally use the crescent sheets, but they didn't have any, so I'm just using the regular crescent rolls. And I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that while the quesadillas are cooking. These things always scare me when they pop, so if you see me jump, that's why. Didn't jump that time, so that's good. Okay, so since they didn't have the rolls, I'm gonna bring you guys closer so you can see. But since they didn't have the rolls, I'm just gonna take all of the creases and kind of like mush them together instead of tearing them apart, and then just cutting them and rolling them up that way. Go ahead and spray my pan and start rolling the beef into the croissants, if I can speak. And then I'm going to put it on the pan before I put it in the oven. But I do have to wait on the quesadillas to finish because the oven is preheated to 425 right now, and I need it to be at 375 for the pigs in a blanket. Okay, here is how the quesadillas turned out. They're super cute. This one's a little crooked. I cut it weird. And the bottom little tooth, or whatever it is blended in now. But these, you can still see it. Okay, now that the quesadillas are done, I'm just gonna go ahead and put the pigs in a blanket in to cook for about 10 minutes. Okay, now I'm starting on the chili recipe, and this is all you're gonna need besides the ground beef, of course, is just the onion, crushed tomatoes, all the seasonings, which I will be showing you guys what I'm using, the kidney beans, and the chicken broth or stock, whatever. And you will also need tomato paste, which I have to get out. I don't have out right now. And I'm going to be cooking it in the Ninja Foodie I have. And I'm gonna start by dicing that onion and cooking that and browning the ground beef. so happy with how these turned out. It's probably the easiest thing to make, and these are always gone in seconds at any get-togethers we have at our house. So it's definitely a win-win for me. But now I'm starting the chili, which when I think about a Halloween party, I always think about having chili for the food. My mom always made our family chili on Halloween night to eat after trick-or-treating or before. Let me know in the comments what your go-to Halloween food is. I'm always curious to know other people's traditions. But the first thing I'm doing is dicing the onion, which I'll be cooking in the foodie, and then cooking the ground beef in a different pan on the stove, because I'm going to drain it before I add that in. Now I'm getting the seasonings to add in once the meat is done, and I'm adding 2 tablespoons of chili powder first. Then 1 tablespoon of cumin. One teaspoon of oregano. And the salt and pepper. Now I'm adding in 1 cup of the beef broth, and you could use chicken broth if that's what you prefer. Either would be good. And after that, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of the tomato paste. You want to make sure to stir it really well to make sure that the tomato paste is mixed in before adding the beans. The only beans I'm using in this recipe is 2 cans of kidney beans, and I drain and rinse them before I put them in. Once you have all of that mixed, then add the crushed tomatoes on top without mixing anymore before adding the lid on and setting it to cook. The setting I'm using on my foodie is pressure and then shutting the lid, and then I'm going to be adding a timer of 10 minutes. You also want to make sure that you have it sealed. Once the chili was done, I just added it to this new super cute Halloween bowl we got, and then topping it with some cheese before enjoying it for lunch, with the help of Kyler, of course. For the dessert, I'm making a ghost s'mores dip. This was seriously the best. You can't go wrong with s'mores anything, and I did have Kyler help me with this. He was so excited. But everything you need for the s'mores dip is some semi-sweet chocolate chips, the mini semi-sweet chocolate chips, some ghost marshmallows, heavy cream, and of course the graham crackers. The first thing you want to do is just add the chocolate chips in the bottom of the dish and then top those with a 1/4 cup of heavy cream. Once it's mixed up, just add the ghost marshmallows on top, covering the chocolate. And this is where y'all see little Hands helping me. He was so sweet and couldn't wait to eat the marshmallows.
You're making chocolate?
Yeah, put it. Good job.
What are you making?
This one. And put it right here. Good.
Do you have one?
Yep, when they're done, they gotta cook in the oven. And I want you to put the next one right there. Okay. Here, let me help your hand. Oh, good job. When we were finished, I added it to the oven at 375 for 8 to 10 minutes. So this was the fun part. We're using the mini chocolate chips to make the eyes and the mouth of the ghost. It was actually pretty time consuming because I had to keep taking breaks in between because the chocolate would start melting in my hand before I could add it to the marshmallows. So you have to make sure your hands are cool before placing them where you want. Now it's time for the Witch's Brew margaritas. These are so good, but you want to be prepared for your mouth and tongue to turn black because it will happen. But I'm starting by cutting half the lime in slices and using the other half to wet the rim. I'm adding some black decorating sugar to a paper plate to put the top of the cup in that I just added the lime to. And then I will be adding the ice to the cup. After I have the ice in, I'm putting some lime juice in the bottom of both glasses, and then I'm going to add the tequila and triple sec. To make it look more like a Halloween drink, I'm adding some blue, red, and green food coloring, then giving it a stir and adding the lime to garnish. Let me know if you all try any of these recipes and what you think. And if you came from Sophie's channel today, I'm so glad you're here. I would love for you to introduce yourself in the comments. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see y'all in my next one.